Alrighty, I'm going to work through question 4 of last year's Specialist Mathematics exam now. So the first question involves graphing this particular function. This is really one of those questions where we want to use the graphics calculator to get an idea of the plot and then graph it on the paper here. So after we put it into a graphics calculator, what we'll see is we'll actually get a graph that looks something like this. So it's maxing out around this point here. So it's a little bit like a sine curve, except we've got a flatter top to it. Okay. Second part, we want to show that f of x, or prove that f of x is an odd function. So to prove that, we want to show that f of minus x is equal to minus f of x. Just putting in the definition first. First part. So we end up with a cube root of minus sine x. And the cube root of a negative number is going to be negative the cube root of sine x. And that, of course, is equal to then minus f of x. Therefore, f is odd. Okay, part C, we want to graph. Back in part A, shade the region represented by this particular integral here, and really that's representing the area under the graph cube root sine x between 0 and pi on 2. So really what we're interested in here is this area underneath the graph. And then the last bit, the integral between minus pi on 2 and pi on 2 is going to equal 0, and that's because, because f is an odd function. Therefore, the integral from minus pi on 2 to 0 of is equal to minus the integral from 0 to pi on 2 of cube root of sine x dx. So just clean that up a bit there. Sine x dx. There we go. And that's question number 4 wrapped up. So hopefully a relatively straightforward question. Just remembering again, graphics calculator to graph it. Standard definition of odd functions here, so need to be very familiar with odd and even functions. Integral, shading the area, and then working out that for a symmetrical function, for an odd function here, the integral between minus a and a is always going to equal 0.